my ass has his handprint. And they're like, girl, really? And so they lift her up and they put her on the vault and they press her booty into the thing there, chat. And there is the handprint of Reyes firmly on Gal Gadot's ass. Which I think is hilarious. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. Before we go ahead and start reviewing, before I do my scene by scene breakdown of Fast 5, Fast and Furious 5, Fast and Furious 5, Rio Heist, this is what it was known in some international market chat, I have to ask you a very important question. How many of you have seen the 5th chapter in the Fast saga, the Fast and Furious saga chat, Fast 5? Very curious about this. Cassie, nope. Cassie's not seen it. Of course I haven't. You've only seen Tokyo Drift. Only saw the vault scene. It's a good scene, Dark. It's a very good scene. RD, I've seen them all. My man. Uzaki, no. Two-Tone I've a couple times. Same. I'm right there. We're in the same boat. Two-Tone, we're in the same boat. I have. It's a once-in-a-generation movie. It's up there. It's up there. It's one of those, you know, one of those genre-defined films. Or actually, it's a genre-defined film. It evolved. It's like, oh, shit, the franchise has changed or devolved. Evolved or devolved, depending on who you're talking to. I've never seen Basement Tyrese. He returns. This is where he acts more Tyrese. Luke Hobbs, nope, but I heard it may be crazier than my fever dream. It's pretty fucking nuts. King Draven, welcome, King Draven. I own them all. You got that collection. Nice. You ain't no buster, King Draven. You got the entire collection. I admire that. I respect that. Probably, but just like I don't remember. That's fair. I need Basement Tyrese. You're getting a little bit of Basement Tyrese in this movie. Don't you worry. He screams more in the next few films. Batboy, I've seen every film except for the one that's not out yet. F9. Fair enough. Hamilton, I've not seen it. What happened? This villain might be worse than Croton. Or Crouton, as I like to call him. Crouton. Good to see what happened. Oh, Reyes. Well, the thing is, chat. All right, I might do something controversial here. When the movies was on at a gym, I felt personally attacked. Why? They're motivational. They're motivational. I seen 4 to 8. Interesting, Austin. So you've never seen the first 3. Okay. All right, fair enough. We just did 4 yesterday, which is a very fun review. Fast and Furious, chat. Just dropped the thes in it. Chat, I did see this movie in the theater. Really, really enjoy it. Not gonna lie, for a long time, this was my favorite Fast and Furious movie. Not gonna beat around the bush. I would rank this as of my review series. Chat, I've reviewed 5. So far, I'm including this one tonight. I'll be doing 5. I've done 5 reviews, and this is number 1. If I had to rank them all now, I would probably say it's Fast 5, The Fast and the Furious. By the way, Fast and Furious is very close to the Fast and the Furious. They're like neck and neck. I actually really liked Fast and Furious. I thought it was a lot of fun. I know that movie is not very popular among the fan base and the critics especially. But I actually kind of dug it. I mean, there's things you can criticize about, no doubt about it. It was very much a transitional movie. It's like, okay, what direction is this franchise going to go in? I mean, it was like that. It was trying to find itself. Fast 5, it's like it's confident in what it wants to be. That's the one thing that Fast 5 definitely has over Fast and Furious. But yeah, Fast 5, the Fast and the Furious, Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, and then Too Fast, Too Furious, I think it's not an awful movie. It's just boring, I think. It's the weakest of the film. Like, nothing, I think, is below a low rental, if you will, on the double toasted scale, chat. But, no, when I first saw this in theaters, it was a great theater experience. Because unlike the previous films, which are all pretty much, I mean, Fast and Furious is kind of wavering between it being about, it's a race car movie, drag race movie. It's all about the cars, being a car movie, if you will, and an action film. It's always trying to okay, what are we? It's thinking about it. But all the previous films were very much about the racing. This one's like racing is not really a part of this franchise anymore. Like, of course, they're always going to be the cars. You have them for the action scenes and chases. There's really only one race in this movie. A matter of fact, there's a very controversial scene when they just skip a whole race after just kind of leading up to it. It's like, oh, shit, here we go. And some people are actually kind of like, oh, I got the blue balls. What'd you do to me? But it does have some terrific fucking chase scenes involving all sorts of vehicles. But it's really an action movie. This is when the Fast and Furious films start to go off in that heist, spy, superhero genres. They start to explore all those subgenres, chat, of action films, and they kind of leave the whole idea of the racing life, that drag race. Remember those 10-second races? That's not part of it anymore. That's fucking done. Those 10-cent car races, that drifting, chat, it's done. It'll occasionally come back in. It'll worm its way back in the movie, but only to do with a particular thing that they're trying to pull off. It's never going to be the main focus again. I believe. And honestly, Chum, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's better off for. This franchise has always felt, this movie feels very confident in what it wants to be. That's the thing that I think always stands out about it. It's like, okay, we're all about the family at this point. We're focusing, a lot of it's on the humor and the chemistry between all these actors. That was always my criticism of some of the other films. Not so much the first one or the fourth one, but in 2 and 3, it's like some of these actors, they have no chemistry with each other. This was like, okay, you're really finding yourself there. Where I had a problem with, I didn't think Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson worked very well in Too Fast, Too Furious. They work spectacularly here. They're bouncing off each other. They feel like friends. Everyone feels like friends. Yeah, they're ribbing each other. They're having fun with each other. They're shit talking. And for the most part, all of that works. Like, probably the 2 weakest members of the family are the Dominican brothers. They're not bad or anything. They're just like, they're just kind of, they're there. But the chemistry between, Vin Diesel's Dom Toretto, Paul Walker's Brian Connor, Jordana Brewster's Mia Toretto, like the three of them, like which occupies, I think, like the first third of the movie. They feel like a family. They've been doing these movies for years, and you can tell that they feel really, really close. And I like the way they just bounce off each other. And eventually, when they bring in Tej, played by Ludacris, and Roman Pierce, played by Tyrese Gibson, and they're bringing back Han, Chad, and even you have Gal Gadot come in there as Gazelle, and I guess she's okay. I mean, she has one scene, and her scene is like, all right, really, that's all she does. We'll get to that. But when they're all together, it works amazingly well. It's like, damn, you just like spending time. I think that's the true success of these films. It's like, yes, you have these action scenes, but these people are just really fun to hang out with, and I just love their little conversations with each other. And this is the movie that really showcases that, and I think that's why it really works. And yes, you have some spectacular action. Justin Lin, I feel like you see his evolution from film to film to film. He gets better each and every time. And here it's like, okay, you really got this down now, man. And the cinematography is very good. The action is really very good. There's no like a bad action. Are they ridiculous? Are they illogical? Is gravity and physics, are they ignored? Yes, of course they are. But it works. It's so much fun. And then, you have two villains in the movie. So this is controversial. This might become, by the way, thank you, Dark Side of the Place. They're like the Juicy Game. We have fun of you when you fanboy over something. Exactly. You make fun of me about that. No question about it. But you have two villains. You have the generic another drug dealing villain, Chad, who might as well be Braga. He's Braga without the fucking twist, which I'm like, all right, well, thank God they didn't do that. Reyes. But I'm going to count it, Chad. He's a fucking villain. He's a villain for most of the goddamn movie. Okay? It's The Rock. Okay? It's goddamn Special Agent Hobbs, chat. All right? He is a villain for about, let's say, 4/5, 7/8, or whatever you want to consider it, chat, of this movie, all right? And then he makes a turn. He's kind of like still a villain, but he's like, I'll get you next time, though. He's like one of those. I'm going to count him, chat. I'm sorry, but I am going to count Hobbs as one of two villains in this movie, along with Reyes. Yes, he's a good guy. Yes, he's an agent of the law. He's trying to stop Dom and the family from committing these crimes. They're all on the run based on what they do. But for the sake of the convenience, chat, I'm going to count Reyes and Hobbs. And, Hobbs, I mean, he's absolutely the better villain. But this is also, I think this movie also really helped propel The Rock forward. Because before this, he was doing action films, of course, throughout the 2000s, everything from Scorpion King to The Rundown to Walking Tall. And, I liked actually all three of those movies, matter of fact. But he also did some other films that were forgotten. He did a lot of comedies and stuff. But I feel like Fast Five like really propelled his career, making him one of the centerpieces of this movie, of this franchise for several films, because he appears in 6, he appears in 7, he's in 8, 7 to a lesser degree, but he's in 8. And, of course, doing a spin-off series with Jason Statham, Hobbs and Shaw, which I will also be reviewing. And he's good across all movies. Like, say what you will about some of the actors in the films, like, 8, which I'm not the biggest fan of. He's good in that movie. He's fun to watch in that film. It's actually just kind of sad when you know in real life that the Rock and Vin Diesel do not like each other. It's like, damn it. That kind of sucks. Because I like when they go up against each other. I mean, the fucking throwdown that they have in here, it's like, Jesus Christ, concrete bricks. They're like, get out of the fucking way of Dominic Toretto and fucking Special Agent Hobbs, chat, because, no, you can't stop them. It's like 2 Hulks. It's like 2 bros throwing down, chat. It's like, Jesus, one's just a lot sweatier than the other. The other thing, observation, chat. For whatever reason, The Rock is perspiring more than I've ever seen. I don't know what they put into him. I don't know what his diet was, but Jesus Christ, he is just constantly wet. Not in a sexual way at all. Just beads of sweat always going, like, literally dripping from his, like, goatee and his face. And everyone else in the room is just, like, fine. Like, they're totally okay. Like, they're not sweating. I mean, maybe a little bit. It's in Rio. It's in Brazil. They filmed there, but they're like a little sweat. But I was like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he spits. He's sweating and spitting. Also, some other picture, ZZ does that throughout the movie, too. The henchman ZZ, who is like a fucking cockroach. You can't kill him until they finally do. But it's like, it's very odd. Ice cream soup, I'm like, can someone carry a fan for him? Or a portable AC unit? I gotta give him my portable AC unit, chat, because it looks like he's about to fucking die. When I smell baby oil? Oh, Lord. I know. It's so goddamn good. Oh, thank you, Darkslayer. He's more moist. He's more moist than me. I thought I was hot. I thought that I was sweating. I thought I was perspiring. No, The Rock beats anybody. I've never seen an actor sweat more in a movie than The Rock. It's like, oh my God, are you okay? It's very weird. Hobbs is a force of nature. He is a juggernaut. He should have been the juggernaut. In the X-Men movies. Like, you buy it. He looks fucking good. Does Herman drive a 10-second car? Does Herman live a life a quarter mile at a time? Find out, Herman. I tried to, Ty Barrismunk. I tried to live that life. I tried to adhere to the Dom Toretto lifestyle. But it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard not to be a buster. All right? And there's some busters in this movie. Believe me, chat. Believe me. But no, overall, this is a super fun film, chat. It's the first entry in the franchise. I'm like, okay. Everything is pretty much working here. Maybe I have a few quibbles, overall. I'll get to them, but what a fun movie, chat. What a fun movie. But also, it was the most successful film as of when it was released 2011. It was the 5th entry in the franchise, obviously. It was the most critically and commercially successful film. Did pretty well with critics. Audiences loved it. Had a highest budget, $125 million. Had a box office of $626.1 million. Killed on VOD, DVD, Blu-ray, chat. The movie did very, very well. And all the entries in the franchise continued to do fucking gangbusters, chat, until this became a billion-dollar fucking franchise. It did very well. For Fast 5 through 7 are awesome. I agree. Those, I think, are the best films of the franchise, and I'll be doing 6 tomorrow, chat. Hear my opinions on that. But no, overall, great film. Justin Lin really came into his own with this one, and this brought the team together, the family together, chat, and it's working on all accounts, in my opinion. Maybe a few weak links, Gal Gadot and the 2 Dominican brothers. But overall, really, really pretty good, chat. Really pretty good. So, yeah, great movie. But, chat, we must start at the beginning. And we start where the last film left off, chat. So, as you know, Dominic Toretto was arrested by United States Border Patrol agents, chat, after the capture of Braga/Campos, chat, after he fucking ran through Not Voss. And he was sentenced, chat. This is fucking crazy. I can't believe this. Dominic Toretto was sentenced to 25 years to life without parole. It's like, oh my God, at least early parole. But still, he's probably serving like a minimum of 25 years. That fucking sucks. But family's not going to stand for that, chat, because Jordana Brewster, Mia O'Connor, or Mia Toretto, she's not O'Connor yet, chat. You got to put a ring on it, Brian. You're putting a baby in her, but you're not putting a ring on it? Come on, buddy. But Mia Toretto, Brian O'Connor, he's like, he goes, fuck you, the FBI. He leaves, and the two Dominican brothers, they decide to fucking jump the prison bus, to attack the prison bus that's shipping Dom off to prison. And this fucking action sequence is so much fucking fun, because it does, and this is when, again, logic, physics, gravity, all enemies of the Fast and Furious franchise, because this is when that shit stops applying. Like, it kind of was like, it was wavering. It's like, sometimes it applies, sometimes it does. In Fast and Furious here, fuck that bullshit. It is out the window, chat, because all three of these cars, they surround this fucking bus. They surround this goddamn bus. And Dom, he doesn't even know. He knows family. He knows that they're here, Chad. He believes it. And fucking Brian, he pulls this fucking move. It's incredible. Where he gets, like, you have Mia, and you have the two Dominican Republic brothers, and they're bashing against the bus trying to get it off kilter. And Brian, he goes in front of it. He drives like right ahead of it, and he stops his fucking car, but he makes sure it's positioned in such a way where the bus will hit his bumper at a certain angle. Like, apparently Brian O'Connor, Paul Walker, he's like he has a PhD in physics, and he's like, if they hit me in my bumper in this specific way, the bus will flip over and everyone will live. And so this fucking bus is going at least 60, 70 miles per hour, and it just nudges. It just, I'm like, at this point, if it's going this fast, it would have destroyed Brian O'Connor's car. Nah, man. Nah. That car powered by family. Because this bus hits it, and it just goes pa-pa. It just kind of hits Brian's car a little bit, just damages a little bit. Not bad at all. He can still, very drivable. And this fucking thing flips over, chat. Oh! Right onto its back like a turtle, smushing. Just destroying the top of the thing. People obviously dead, chat, no question. Dom, most likely dead, chat. But then, boom, we cut, and we see all these reporters on the scene, and they're like, oh, well, apparently all the prisoners have been accounted for and are only suffering minor injuries and bruises. It's like, bull fucking shit. That driver is dead. I saw the front of that bus cave in. That guy would have went through the windshield or been impaled by glass, chat, or something. His steering wheel would have been coming out of his asshole. That's what would have happened. And all these prisoners apparently just minor injuries, maybe a little bit of neck pain and bruises. It's like, give me a fucking break. There is no way. There is no goddamn way Chris P.I. is on. I'm on the case. So death is gonna, no, there is no death. Listen, if you're part of the family, death does not apply to you. Like, Han survived a car crash and an explosion. Somehow he's walking around in F9, and it makes no goddamn sense. Very curious how they're going to pull that off. No, death does not apply. Like, anyone can come back in this franchise, even villains. I'm like, you can bring back some of these dead guys. I mean, why not? It doesn't matter. Oh, Lord. But all these reporters are like, well, the only person who wasn't accounted for was known car thief and busted. No, he's no busted, chat. Known, I love it. Known thief of such things as Panasonic televisions and combination DVD VHS players, Dominic Toretto. He has escaped, and he's believed he is no longer along with former FBI agent Brian O'Connor, Mia Toretto, and those other guys have apparently left the country, and their whereabouts are unknown, chat. Thank you for going to the Benny. I think the hate is one side on Vince's part, while Rock is whatevs. Oh, fair enough. It's shit. I want to talk about something early because it's ridiculous in regards to their contracts and how fight scenes are done. It's really, really funny. Chris P.I. is on the scene and asks, what's the status of the driver? Chris, he did. Obviously. Everyone would think this man was fucking dead. There's no way he survived it. But then chat's like, well, what are they? And we cut to Rio de Janeiro, chat, the capital of Brazil. Okay? A former colony of Portugal, chat, now its own country. We see the statue of Christ the Redeemer, chat. And we cut to that fucking statue throughout this time. There's like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 shots of Christ the Redeemer just like, what's up, bitches? The whole time. Just to let you know, that's real. And by the way, Justin Lin and his cinematographer, they do a great job of showcasing Rio and its culture, its life, its food. Yes, it's perfect for setting for action scenes. They do the quintessential. We got to run across the various building rooftops. You get all that, chat, but it's really cool to see Rio de Janeiro in this movie. Rio is very much a character. Rio is a member of the family. It's a bro family member, chat. No doubt about it. But they're fleeing to Rio, and it's for a very particular reason, chat, because there is a family member living in Rio de Janeiro. And who the fuck can this person? This is Brazil, my favorite line. Well, yes, Katie, welcome to the Good 5 Days. Hope you and Bat Shields are doing very well tonight. Pleasure to have you here, part of my Fast 5 review. But Brian and Mia, they park this one car at the side of this of all these buildings, all these homes, all these little tenements, and they go up these stairs, and then all these fucking Brazilian guys come on out, and they're all the fucking sporting like assault rifles, chat, and Uzi and stuff. They're packing heat, if you will, as the kids say, chat, as the kids would say on the street. They're packing heat. And they're like, oh, shit. And Brian's like, all right, we got to get going. But then they hear someone going, hey, what's up? And who fucking appears, chat, like a specter from the past? Vince. It's Vince from the original Fast and Furious, chat. The guy that always hated Brian O'Connor, despised him, said, that motherfucker's a cop. He's a buster. Oh, shit, chat. He's a punk. And he walks down the stairs, and he sees me. He's like, Mia! And she's like, hi, Vince! And they hug, and Brian O'Connor and Vince are just staring at each other. It's like, oh, shit, here we go. We then cut to the home of Vince, where we're introduced to his lovely wife and baby boy, Nico, chat. And, you know, Vince and Brian are kind of like, they're like, all right, let's just put, you know, bygones be bygones, put our shit to bed. They shake hands, and Vince is like, hey, and I like this. Vince grew up. Vince, the man on the verge of death, and the first one good as new here. Yeah, he's okay. Well, it looks like he's had a few rough years. Thank you for the 5 days, Dark Slayer. Because I like that Vince, he seems to be a little bit better, seems a little more wiser, he's not as hot-headed as before. You know, having a kid, I think, maybe helped him a little bit. And he sits down with Brian, and they shake hands, and Vince just talks about, like, what happened. How, like, he spent, like, ever since that day, you know, when he got his fucking kidney shot out and his left handle got blasted off by that truck driver, Chad, who appeared in Fast and Furious, the 4th film, came back for revenge. He's like, he spent all of his time going all around down Central America to South America and finally settled here. He has a life, but things are still very difficult living in Brazil. And, you know, he's asking about Dom and all that. And Brian is like, don't worry, Dom, he's here as well. We then cut to Mia and Vince's wife, and they're playing with the little baby. By the way, I have a question. Is Nico, the kid Nico, is he the kid that Dom helps in Fate of the Furious? Is that the same kid who bet his car? Is that the same guy or no? I don't think so, because he's in Cuba at one point, and I don't believe that's the same kid. Now, no, okay, I don't think so. All right, I just want to be sure, because again, time means nothing in this series. I'm very confused by it, because he says that kid is his nephew, and I'm like, is this like his nephew via Vince? But I don't know. I doubt it. Okay, I just wanted to be sure, as I was thinking about this, like, wait a minute. Anyway. Long lost cousin, sure. Long lost cousin. Yeah, I guess so. More family. Family just got bigger. So, Mia's talking to Vince's wife, and they're like, she's like, the baby. She's like, I don't feel good. Oh, and she runs to the bathroom and goes, bleh, bleh, and just vomits everywhere. And she cleans herself up and everything. And Vince's wife walks in and is like, does Brian know that you're preggo? Oh my God, Mia's having a baby. Because they were having copious amounts of unprotected sex, chat. Remember in Fast and Furious where they fucking had sex on the kitchenette, chat, where they chop vegetables and cook their fucking food, prepare the meals of the family? They had the sex there. And there's no doubt that little Brian Jr., whatever the hell his name was, was conceived there, chat. And she's like, he doesn't know. So he's gonna find out soon, obviously. And so they go in and talk with Vince and Brian. And Vince says, listen, I got a job with this guy named Reyes. He wants us to steal these cars from this train. So we start, this is like a Western. This movie's kind of like a Western. Kind of has like a this opening thing has kind of like a Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid vibe to it, where they're going to commit, who are notable, outlaws and train robbers back in the Wild West. And thank you, details of the 5 minutes. Enjoy this cream over taco. No! Katie this movie is definitely my second favorite. It's good. It's really good. It's either my first or second favorite. But yeah, this opening feels very much like Paul Newman and Robert Redford's Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid, where they agreed to do this job for this Reyes guy who is a crime lord in Rio de Janeiro, chat, and he wants him to steal these 3 cars for him. And so we cut to Mia and Brian on the train, and they're just talking and things, and Mia's looking at all these as she calls them vacation spots, and Brian sees them. He's looking at Hong Kong. You're looking at a place called Gao, several other Monaco, and he goes like, "Why are you looking at all these places?" He's like, "Well, these are places where they can't extradite us if they find out where we are." And he's like, "Oh shit! I mean, that's smart. That's smart thinking." And it's like, okay, we better, because they see someone off in the distance. They look outside the train, and they see this giant fucking vehicle heading towards the train. It's like, all right, now is the time to get going. And they start walking, but they notice on the train there's like a shit ton of DEA agents, and they're like, what are a bunch of DEA agents doing on this train? Like, what's Reyes up to? We know he's like, wants to get us these cars for him. Is this guy involved with drugs? And they're like, oh shit, this might be more complicated than we think. But they go in the back of the train. Also, they take the one of the conductors, Brian. They do some smooth moves. Mia uses her feminine wiles, chat, by presenting her bazungas to him. She's like, "Oh, excuse me," and she's like, "Ah!" And then Brian, he gets his little key card, so he's able to go in between all the cars. And so they go to the secret car that has all the cars in there, chat, which apparently has been seized by the DEA. And they're like, "Okay, shit, well, we're gonna wait here before the Mad Max car gets here to saw it open." And we cut outside to the desert. So I've always criticized like the series that they're driving on open terrain, and these cars are like not built for open terrain. Finally Justin Lin listened, because he has this giant Mad Max-esque truck with this incredible suspension and these giant fucking tires just coming right towards the train, chat. And it's got this big old back portion where you can put cars on and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And it's just bouncy all the way there, chat. And then they get right in. By the way, no one on the fucking train sees this giant Mad Max-esque, Lord Humongous, Immortan Joe contraption car coming towards them. It's like, all right, it's too loud, they can't tell. And this thing pulls up right on the car that Mia and Brian are. And they get what is obviously a blowtorch. The Rock calls it something differently. Like, it's funny. Like, later on when The Rock is investigating this scene, they use plasma cutters. Are you saying that they acquired technology from the game Dead Space? Is Isaac Clarke a part of the family? I guess so. I imagine so. So, they start using the plasma cutters. What a day. What a lovely day. Witness me. I live, I die, I live again. Anyway, they start using the plasma cutters to cut this big fucking hole in the side of the train, and the whole fucking side of the train comes off, the wall. And boom, it lands. Oh, and actually what it does is, because they didn't think, the train is going so fast, and it actually whips right by him, hits one of the guys. Just explodes like a fucking mosquito. That guy's dead. But that's okay. We don't give a shit about that guy, because chat, they're hit by this bright light, chat. Just the desert sun hits them, and who walks out, chat, like a sweet, muscular, mumbling angel? Dominic Toretto, chat, wearing his all white beater, chat. It's like, oh yes, and he's like, "Sup, family?" He's here, Chad. He's here. And Brian and Mia, they all hugging and stuff. He's like, okay, let's get these let's boost these goddamn cars. Thursday 5 days. Now I want to see the family take on necromorphs in the Brethren rooms. Yes, yeah, why not at this point? They're going to space, aren't they? And so they also brought some other guys along. They're not part of the family. Their leader, they work for Mr. Reyes, chat, this crime lord in Rio, and the leader of them is a guy named ZZ, and he's a fucking cockroach in this movie. You cannot kill him, but you look at him, he's like, this guy is super fucking sketchy, and they're like talking back and forth like in Portuguese, and they're like looking like this. They're just like, okay, these guys are gonna betray us, but they start boosting. Also, Vince is with them too. And Vince gets in the first car, and what they do is they actually like suction cup the cars out. Like, they put these little like these plungers on, and they suck it out of the car, and they put it on the back of the bed of the Mad Max vehicle, and they have this it like lifts up, chat, like the back lifts up, and then it also has like this slide that comes out, like this giant slide, and so the cars don't like fall on their backs like turtles or stuff, so it backs up, slides down, and then they're able to take all these cars. But then ZZ's like, we need that car right there. The boss needs that car. It's very important. And they're like, what the fuck is all this about? Like, we don't know. Like, it's very weird. And then they get wind, it's like, get the car, and I'll take care of the rest. And I was like, oh, shit, this guy's a buster. He's going to take us out. And Mia's just like, I'll take that car. And they're like, no, we want that car. And she's like, don't worry, we'll get all the cars. We'll meet back, and we'll make sure everyone gets what they want. And they're like, like, this is a change of plans. Is what we talk about. But Mia gets in the fucking car. They suction cup it, and it goes out. But this time, ZZ, he starts fucking freaking out. And he's like, I must kill you all. And oh shit, Vin Diesel and Brian, we knew you were a buster, ZZ. And so they start fucking fighting, Chad. They start fucking fighting against all these guys. Right? Brian, at one point, he gets thrown out of the fucking vehicle because he gets this one guy gets sucked into the train tracks. He just gets torn apart. But he jumps into the Mad Max vehicle, Chad, and he starts fucking fighting. He starts fucking fighting with the guy, right, like, who's controlling the truck. They go back and forth and everything. And actually, at one point, this is nuts. While Vin Diesel's dealing with ZZ and these 3D agents walk in, they're like, freeze, take it easy. He's like, ah, and he kills the 3D agent, shoots him in the back of the head. And Vin Diesel's like, no one's supposed to die. It was terrible. And Vin Diesel, he gets in a car and he just drives out of the fucking thing. But Brian, who's inside the Mad Max vehicle, this thing is going all over the place, like around the desert and stuff, right next to the car. And eventually the guy's like, oh, they lose control and they slam into the fucking side of the train. And that's when everyone starts noticing, like, hey, what's going on outside? Like, you didn't notice it before? All the dead DEA agents and all the shooting, all the bro family shit. Oh, I love it too. Because in this scene, actually right before it, this is amazing. It kind of harkens back to Fast and Furious, where Dom gets shot. So some of the thugs, ZZ's henchmen, they go after Vin Diesel with like a bunch of tire irons and crowbars, and one guy literally comes up behind him and goes, ah, and hits Dom in the back, and it just bounces off of Dom, and Dom's just like, huh? And he just grabs him and throws him out the train. So they're hitting Dom with all these crowbars and tire irons, and it's like nothing's even hurting him. It's just like, your hitting just makes me stronger. He's just throwing all these guys around as they're just trying to wail on him. He's like, word. That's what he says. As they're just wailing on. Wife beater his armor, yo, exactly. As just wailing on with these tire irons and crowbars, he's like, nothing affects him. He eventually gets in a car. And he's driving it because he sees Brian is like, oh shit, he survived the crash. But Brian's got to make the fucking jump because he's the Mad Max car is connected. And there's a bridge coming up right here. It's like, you need to jump, Brian. Brian's like, shit. And he jumps the last fucking second as the train crosses the bridge. The fucking Mad Max car, ba-boom, explodes, takes out like another car, kills a bunch of people. But Brian is then literally surfing the fucking car. He's holding on to like the back of it like this, surfing the fucking car. His Dom's like, let's go, fuck you, gravity. And Dom just drives off the fucking edge of this huge cliff shit. Now again, and the Dom's like, all right, time to go. He just lets go of the wheel, and him and Paul Walker are just like, oh. And at this height, they would be dead. If they hit the water, it would be like hitting concrete, chat. They would be fucking dead. But again, it doesn't fucking matter. The rules of logic, gravity, and physics do not apply to these characters anymore. They've gone beyond that, chat. They're on another interdimensional spectrum. I can't even describe it, chat. But they just let the car fall in the water, and they jump like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet, chat, in the water. Boom! And they come up here and go, no, that was crazy. It's like, was it? If they had the skill, they have something. I don't know. But they come up there and they're like, "Hoo, man, that was great. But what the fuck was with Reyes?" He's like, "I don't know. We'll find out soon. I don't trust this Reyes guy. You don't trust him yet because he could try to kill you." But then all these vehicles show up at the bank of the river, and it's all of Reyes's guys. And Brian and Vin are like, "Oh shit, no!" And then we cut to this warehouse where Dom and Brian, they're all like hanging up like this, chat, by their hands and shit. And then Reyes comes in. And he's very upset. He's like, where have you taken my cars? I need my cars. And he's like, hey, man, well, you cut us down. We'll show you where they are. He's like, no, I'll cut it out of you. But I won't do it myself. I'll leave maybe one, possibly two henchmen to torture you. and they will extract the information from you. Come with me, ZZ. And ZZ's like, yeah, ZZ, who survived the engagement. Somehow, I don't know how he got off the train, but he did. ZZ is, again, he's a fucking cockroach in this movie. He does not, every scene he's in, every action scene, he's always like the last man standing, and he keeps coming back, Chad. It's like, good for him. He's not going to get that, Darwin Award. He's doing pretty well. But fucking Reyes, who's very incompetent, he leaves and lets these two fucking goons go after Vin Diesel and Brian, like they're about to, start cutting them open and stuff and making them bleed and making them talk. Vin Diesel's like, I'm done being a hostage. Breaks the fucking, the bonds, chat. The chains that are containing Vin Diesel's hands, like his wrist just goes, just breaks through them and starts punching. Meanwhile, Brian O'Connor does his quintessential white guy attack, chat, with taking his thick, white, supple thighs and just crushing one man's head. So he chokes a man, goes, snaps his neck. And then Dom and Brian, they get the fucking hell out of Dodge, chat. They take some of the other cars there, and they go back to their headquarters, where they meet up with Mia and Vince. Now, Brian is very upset with Vince because he thinks that he betrayed him. He thinks he wasn't telling him about like what actually this job was. Vince says, I didn't know anything about it. I was just told to boost these cars. I didn't know what they want. I didn't know Reyes was a drug dealer. And it's like, all right, sure. And, Dom and tells Vince and Brian just to fucking cool off. Okay, we'll deal with this problem later, all right? But later in the night, chat, we see Vince sneaking into the garage like a busta, chat, like a busta. And he goes to the one car that Mia got that ZZ and Reyes' boys wanted, the goons wanted, chat. And he pops like the radio out. He takes the radio out and he gets like this chip. And Dom turns on the fucking light. I didn't want to see that, Vince. And it's like, but part of me did. I just wanted to know. And Vince is like, Dom, listen. He's like, you betrayed the family. You betrayed me. Why'd you do it? And he's like, it's all for this. He's like, okay, listen, I did know more than I was letting on. This chip, it has all the information about Reyes, okay? I was thinking I could sell it back to him, make some money. Were you going to include us on Vince, huh? Or are you just going to take it all for yourself? Buster. And he's like, Dom, don't say that. Don't say it. And then Mia's there and Brian's there. And Dom's like, get out, Vince. Get out. You're not a member of this family anymore, which is like worse than death, chat. Straight Busta Tiberius Monk. So when he says you're not a member of the family, just kill me. I'd rather just be dead than not be a member of the family. So what he's doing is worse than death for Vince. But again, Vince is a fucking Busta, chat. He's like, and he leaves and he cries and shit. And he leaves the chip though. He does leave the chip. And so, Vince, he's gone for a good portion of the movie. But then Mia and Brian and Dom, they check what's on the chip, chat. They plug into the computer, and they see it's like, oh, shit, it has all this information. Apparently, chat, for whatever fucked up reason, Reyes keeps a chip with all of his financial information, all of his various drug drops, the amount of money he has, where he keeps that money. It's like the end-all, be-all, like, here is my entire wealth and semblance of life on a single disc. It's like, why? Why do you have something like that? But you can understand why he wants it back, but it's like, why would you even create a chip that has all this on there? It's like, all right, but you understand like why he wants it back. And they're like, oh shit, we're gonna fucking use this, obviously, and we're gonna fucking steal this money from him or try to kind of eke out a life here. It'd be perfect. But chat, life's getting a little more complicated, chat, because we cut to the Rio de Janeiro airport, chat, and we see a fucking plane coming in. And it lands, and these fucking doors open up, chat, and we just see a mountain, a boulder, a rock of, it's basically it's a mountain, it's a boulder with the biggest fucking arms you've ever seen, tree trunk, muscular thighs, chat, and it will not stop sweating, chat. And it is Secret Agent fucking Hobbs, chat. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, chat. And this guy is only used in certain, the most dangerous situations. When you're trying to catch the most dangerous criminals out there, Chad. It's like when the CIA and the FBI, they have no other options, they call fucking Special Agent Hobbs. And I love it because Hobbs, and he's backed up by his entire fucking team, chat. This multi-ethnic, multiracial, diverse crew of people. And he just waddles. He's so big, he can't put his fucking arms down. When he's walking, he's like, and he's just sweating constantly. Like there's one scene when he's having a conversation with Vin Diesel, and there's so much water coming off him. It's like, are you leaking? It's like a faucet that like on his head is coming off his goatee, just dripping. But he's just walking down. You don't keep a list of trade promotions? I do not. I do not, Gino, man. I don't. I try to keep that on the down low. Thank you, by the way, to Maji for the follow. You mind Huckleberry. Welcome to stream. But The Rock is like, geez, Christ, you would not want to fuck this guy. You see this giant boulder of a sweaty man coming at you, be like, fuck this. I am not going to let him take me out because he will kill you. I feel like he would capture you, but he would break every bone in your body. He would just smush you. You would be paralyzed from the neck down. You'd be a vegetable for life, and he needs his veggies. The Rock needs his veggies. He needs his information. That's what he needs right now. And so he arrives in Rio. He's got the Rio Police Department said we can fulfill all your requests, sir. And he's like, well, what about this girl Neves? It's like, well, she's just recently joined the force in the past 6 months. I mean, she's good and she's a trans. By the way, the actress who plays the character of Neves, who is also Dom's love interest in Fast 5 and I guess part of 6. What's the actress's name? Let's get some respect on here. Elsa Pataki, hope I'm saying her name correctly, speaks like 5 languages. She speaks like Russian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and I think something else. So it's like, wow, very talented. So it's kind of cool they have her as a linguist, as a translator for him, because that probably is a possible profession you could have in real life. And he's like, but why did you request her, sir? And The Rock says something that is so sexist. He's like, I like her smile. Oh, she's Chris Hemsworth's wife? Nice. Good for him. She's beautiful. No, the actress, she does a good job here, and she is fucking gorgeous. There's no question about it. Thank you for the 5 minutes. But I love that, like, why did you request her out of all these other people that are, have more experience? He's like, I like her smile. It's like, canceled, indeed. And it's like, okay. And so at this point, he gets his whole team together. He gets Neves. He goes and meet her, and she's like, oh, shit, this is a big fucking operation. I'm trying to remember what organization The Rock works for. It's like he works for the Diplomatic Security Service, which I guess is a real thing. Fair enough. He works for the DSS, chat. He's Super Secret Agent Rock. And they get all this shit together, and they go ahead, and they attack. They raid the hideout of Dom, Mia, and Brian. And it's like, oh shit, but they fucking get out of there, chat. Like me and Brian, they take off first. Dom says, I'll hold some of these guys off. And Dom again, just Hulk strength. Just literally grabbing people and throwing them, grabbing a sword and goes, Rah! And taking out all these like cops and stuff. By the way, I think these guys are just doing their jobs, and Dom's like killed a whole bunch of innocent people. Oh, there is a great scene though, where The Rock is going there to raid a Dom's compound, and he encounters that's the other thing too. Right before he the envoy that the Rio Police Department sends to talk with The Rock, he goes, is there anything else you need, sir? And The Rock goes, yeah, stay the fuck out of my way. It's so good. It's so fucking good. But eventually The Rock, he goes there to the compound, and all the street urchins chat, all these guys packing the heat. They have all their fucking guns, and they're like, what's up? What do you want? And The Rock all The Rock does is that he just stares at them. He doesn't fucking blink. He just stares at them. He takes out his Magnum. He's like, let's go. And they're like, oh, fucking shit. And he's like, that's what I fucking thought. That's a top tier PG-13 F-bomb. That's true. You get one F-bomb, you get one fuck in a PG-13 movie, and it's used incredibly well by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But they're like, okay, shit, we got to back up. And that's when they attack. Dom, he holds them off as Brian and Mia. And then I think we get the quintessential. We're running across the rooftops of all these houses in Rio that you always see this in an action movie that takes place in Rio, chat, or any movie that takes place in Rio. You're going to see people run across the rooftops and do parkour, and you see all of that shit. And the thing is, though, like Mia, for whatever, that's great, is that Mia, who is pregnant, is just like, oh, I can't do it. She's just waddling like, I can't fucking do it, Brian. Brian's like, what's wrong with you? She's like, I'll tell you in a bit. Oh, I need ice cream. I need ice cream and peanut butter. He's like, I don't have those things. Give it to me now. It's like, I don't have it. But they're running. And then this is great because they come to like the edge of this thing, and then there's like another building like 20 feet below. Now, again, if they were to jump into there, they're like, okay, that roof is going to cave. Because, you know, fucking Mia got a big old pearl belly. And it's like, we go in there, it's like, they'll definitely break their fucking legs. We're like, fuck, we gotta do it. And they're being chased by all these guys. And they just fucking jump. They fall 20 feet. Boom! Boom! They crash right through it. And the guys, they look over the edge and they're just gone. They pull a Batman. It's like bull fucking shit. You would not be able to recover fast enough, especially with your wife being pregnant. But okay, they got away. Meanwhile, Dom, chat, he's finally done the compound, and he just goes through a fucking brick wall. He goes, and he jumps through a fucking, it's a window, but it's one of those, like, artistic window that's made from bricks. Doesn't fucking mean anything, Chet. He breaks right through that, and he just starts running. All these guys trying to take him out. They're shooting at him. They're trying to attack him. He's just going, just hitting them with his arms. Just fucking guns of his. He don't need no Busta pistol. Need no Busta assault rifle, chat. He's already rocking these fucking guns. But he's going. The Rock's like, all right, fuck this. This is bullshit. No, I'm gonna take this son of a bitch out. Because The Rock, he pulls his own, like, Dom, like, jumps out this one window and goes, rah! And while mid-fucking jump, chat, like, The Rock busts through the window below him, goes, rah! And Dom's like, what the fuck? As he sees this brown mountain of a man, chat. This sweaty brown mountain of a man just go, and you're like, whoa! It's the only time I've ever seen Dom actually look like scared or surprised. He's like, what the fuck is this? And he keeps running. And The Rock's chasing after him, chat. But at one point, Dom, he's running down these stairs, and Special Agent Neves is there. And she's like, freeze, Dom. He's like, oh, shit, what are you going to do? But all of a sudden, chat, Reyes, he gets a word that this operation's going down, and he wants his chip and car, so he sends his men along with ZZ to attack. And ZZ and his boys get there, and they start attacking the Rock's guys, too. And some of the ZZ and the boys, they start shooting at Dom and also Neves. And then Dom's like, no, pretty lady. And Dom, like, jumps in front of her and pushes her away. And so she's out of the gunfire. Meanwhile, the rest of the Rock's boys, Chad, his multi-ethnic, multi-racial, very diverse team, they come down there and go, rah! And they mow all these guys out. ZZ Top. Actually, not ZZ Top. No, ZZ the cockroach. But they, which is what he is in the movie. They all mow down these guys. And ZZ's just like, oh, fucking shit. He takes cover, chat. And he eventually, like, crawls out at the end. And everyone's fucking dead, and he just runs. It's a recurring gag that he always survives every encounter. Well, almost every encounter. And then Neves is like, why did you save me? And he looks at her and goes, because you ain't no Busta. He runs away. But she notices, and The Rock comes in there and goes, what happened? She's just like, I don't know. They got away. He's like, oh, we were attacked by these other guys. I don't know who they are, but we're going to fucking find out. Let's go back to the compound. And she's like, okay. And she notices Chet on the ground. She sees the cross. She sees Dom's cross, the crucifix that Letty always gave him and stuff like that, the silver with the diamonds. And she picks it up, and she goes to The Rock. Meanwhile, we cut to a fucking sewer grate where Mia, Brian, and Dom have trudged through, I don't know, maybe a few hundred yards of just liquid feces and urine. They come out clean on the other side. And they open up. And Dom's like, listen, guys, at this point, it's really dangerous. We're going to three of us all are going to have to split up. And Dom's like, I'll go off in this direction. Listen, maybe Brian, Mia, you go here. And she's like, I'm pregnant. And they're all like, what? And she's like, what a way to tell them right here as they're like knee deep in liquid feces and urine, chat. Observing the wonderful sewage system of Rio de Janeiro. And Brian's like, we're gonna have a baby. She goes, yeah. And Vin Diesel is just kind of like blankly staring, and they look at him. He goes, our family just got a little bit bigger. And he comes in for a hug, and he's like, bro sister pregnant with bro nephew. And he's so happy, Chad. He's so happy. He's really enjoying himself. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, by the way, they also managed to steal the chip before they left. So they had the chip on them, Chad. The compound, that's lost, but they still have the chip. So we cut back to The Rock and Neves and his team, and they're trying to figure out, like, why were they taking apart these cars? What was the purpose of this? They're like, let's take them apart, put them back together, and see what is missing. The guys are like, but we don't really know much about cars. So he's like, too bad, learn now. And they're like, okay. And so they're putting together these cars and things, and eventually they put them together, and like, sir, we put them together, we take them apart, like nothing's missing. It's perfect as they are. It's running perfectly. And The Rock's like, well, let me go ahead and take a look since you guys think you thoroughly investigated. And The Rock, like, he notices that the radio, it's like, because it's like a classic American muscle car, and it's a goddamn shame they put that fucking radio in there. And he clicks the radio, and what pops up is the secret, like, screen that has an error message saying, ship with all financial information gone. And The Rock's like, see, I know. And they're like, well, how did you know? It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Oh, Lord. But eventually, chat, I think Dom at this point, does Dom go to see Neves? No, it happens later on in the movie. I think it happens later on. But, all right. So at this point, they're like, all right, they meet at a new place, and we got to go after, that's the thing, because we lost our compound. This operation is bigger than the three of us, so we got to start fucking recruiting a team, chat, all right? That's what we need to do, and that's when we get the montage. The montage is like, who do we need for something like this? I mean, and they're like, oh, shit, and that's when we bring in the classic, chat, the OG members of the family. So I'm like, well, first of all, we're going to need an expert racer, someone who knows all about that drift. It's like, shit, Han's coming back. It's like, it's some kind of Suicide Squad. Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. They talk about father and shit. But yeah, at one point, Mia, she's like, she's all sleepy and everything. And because she's big, she's all pregnant. She's like, I'm so pregnant. Give me buttered noodles and peanut butter. And they stuff her full of buttered noodles and peanut butter. And yeah, Dom and Paul Walker, they talk about fatherhood. And Dom says, my dad was great. He would help me with her homework all the time. He'd actually read ahead of her, so he'd be able to help her with the homework the next day. Every Sunday after church, he had barbecue for the whole neighborhood, the whole block. Everyone was invited, but as long as you went to church that day. And it's like, Dom says, my father was the best. He had such a positive impact on me, which I'm like, you're a career criminal who stole combination VHS DVD players, but okay, sure. He's like, I love my dad. And Paul Walker's like, I don't even remember my fucking dad. My dad never gave a shit about me. He never cared. He was barely even there. I don't remember his face. It's like, fuck him. He was a buster. And Dom's like, Brian, you're not going to be like your dad. You're going to be a good dad because you are a bro, and you're part of this family. He's like, I love you, Dom. He's like, hell yeah. But we got to make the family a little bit bigger now. And so we got to recruit some people for this goddamn job. And that's when they're like, who are we going to need? Well, we need that fucking drift king, baby. We need someone who knows that drift and someone who knows cars, some of the best racers out there. Fucking Han, chat. So cool. Just snacking, because he arrives in the Rio airport, just snacks. Like, yes, Han's here. I love it. And we're going to need a fast talker. We're going to need someone who doesn't shut the fuck up and constantly is distracting people, annoying people. And Brian's like, oh, I know a guy from Too Fast, Too Furious. Tyrese Gibson, chat. Roman Pierce is on the scene. And he's staring all the booty butts, all the ladies' booties. He's like, a Rio butt. And there's a lot of booty. Like, there's not as much booty in this movie. Surprising, because it takes place in Brazil. And you know, you've always heard about the quintessential Brazilian booty chat. It is quite large, quite robust, but only a couple of sequences where we see the Rio booty. And but Roman's looking at it. We also need, this cracks me up. We also need what do they call it? A circuits man. And I'm like, what's a fucking circuits man? So they don't exactly want to say hacker, but they call it a circuits man. And apparently the circuits man is Tej from Too Fast, Too Furious. Like, again, ludicrous. Like, he's a cool member of the family. He does a good job. He gets better every movie. Totally agree. But they never explain, like, in the original Too Fast, Too Furious, he doesn't hack anything, and he doesn't work on any cars. His whole thing, chat, is that he organizes drag races and jet ski races, and that's it. and he owns a garage, which you never ever see him work on a car. But apparently, in that time period, he becomes a circuits man, master hacker. And they try to, they do the whole thing where they try to explain away. It's like, don't do that. We'll come to that scene in a bit. More to the YouTube videos. Hey, it's Tyrese Gibson, the dude that thought Morbius was going to be the MCU. Oh, did he? Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, he's part of that. That's, again, the Sony Marvel thing is so weird, like how that's going to work in the Spider-Man film. We'll find out. I didn't know they thought that. Yeah, maybe because he's in it. I went to a 3-month boot camp, hacking boot camp. But we have Tyrese Gibson. We have Tej Chat, you know, Ludacris, of course. And we also need 2 reliable Dominican Republic brothers. And we have the 2 Dominican Republic brothers who are always arguing with each other. And we also need someone who can get us in the inside, someone who has criminal connections. And that's Wonder Woman. That's Gal Gadot from the last movie, chat. Because she used to work for Braga. And so apparently she knows Reyes as well. It's like, okay, shit. And we see her coming in here. And then we all cut to like a warehouse, chat, where Ludacris and Roman, they're like the first ones to show up there. And they're like, oh, shit. I thought I heard a mouth going off. He's like, fuck you, Tej. Fuck you, Roman. Come here, brother. And they're all hugging, all good. They haven't seen each other in years, chat, in years. But then, chat, they see this fucking motorcycle come on in. And it's Wonder Woman. And she gets off. She's like, does anyone have a sandwich? I'm so hungry. And Roman, who is like, oh, damn, girl, you got some fine legs. What time do they open? Because he wants to have sex with her. And she immediately pulls out a fucking gun. She's like, what the fuck did you just say? I will shoot you. I'll let you know when these fucking open. I'll blow your fucking head off. And then Han's like, hey, guys, come on, let's cool down. You want a snack? She's like, yes! And that's why she loves Han, chat, because she is so fucking hungry. She needs food. She needs fucking food. That's why she's always with Han in these scenes. She's like, I just want a nibble, please. I mean, because she's very, very skinny in this movie. Like, I was like, okay, you need to eat something, girl. She's very, very skinny in these movies. Suki's also mentioned to have dumb Tej. Yes, it's mentioned that the reason why Tej took this job is because Suki, who was in Too Fast, Too Furious, dumped him and stole all of his shit. And all of his earnings, and he lost his garage, and he lost his rep as a drag racer / or drag race organizer / jet ski race organizer. All because of this. It's like, shit, Han's more of a gentleman with his snacks. And yeah, he is. He's giving out snacks. He's like, you want a snack? You want a snack? You want a snack? So he's very, you know, he's great. And they're all talking with each other, and then fucking Dom reveals himself. He's like, yes, the family has come. And everyone's like, okay, what's this all about? And he's like, okay, we're gonna steal from a criminal, you know, a career criminal mastermind, and drug lord. And Roman's like, okay, fuck this. I'm out. I ain't getting involved in that kind of shit, okay? Remember Crouton, Brian? Remember Crouton? I don't need that bullshit, okay? And he leaves. And Dom's like, all right, well, you know, what we're going to steal is $100 million. And Roman's like, oh, shit, $100 million. Well, you know what? At this moment, I was just rethinking. And I think that if we all work together with the power of family, we'll be able to do it. And again, what's so good about all these scenes when they're all in a group, they're constantly bouncing off each other, and it all really works. It's very, very funny. There's improv here, you can tell, but it's working, chat. And Tyrese Gibson is doing a great job. It's great. Lucas has a couple lines. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of great lines of Ludacris and or Tej, if you want to call him Tej, and Roman, and Brian, and everyone. Everyone's doing a really good job. More get the tips. Okay. So question: Tokyo Drift, was Han a student or a dropout? Because I never thought about it. It's kind of not good. No, I don't know what he is. I think it may be Better Luck Tomorrow, which is a, you know, technically a Fast and Furious spin-off movie. It's part of that universe. The character of Han is in that movie. I've never seen it, so maybe we learn a little bit more about Han's origins. All we know is that he is a career criminal like Dom Toretto. And he's also a Drift Kang. That's all we know. He's an expert car guy and racer, and he loves snacks. He loves the salty snacks. That's kind of his thing. But at this point, it's like, okay, like they talk about the operations. Like, we need to get a sense of Reyes and the police operations here. We have the discs, and they look at all the locations, like where they do, like they, you know, where they take care of all the dirty money or all the drugs. And it was like, we're never going to be able to, because together, if we attack like these operations, like in one day, we can get $10 million, but it's going to be too difficult. And like, it doesn't matter, because we want to find out, we're going to make him, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make him put all of his money in one location, but we got to scare him. We got to put the fucking fear of God into him, which is like, okay, it's cool. It's like, what we got to do, we're going to attack one of his locations. That's what we're going to do. And so we cut to this this driver who apparently is going up to pick up some cash or drop off some cash or something. He knocks on this door. We see inside the sweatshop. But it's interesting. People are like, oh, look at all the ladies in their bikinis and stuff like that. And the reason why they're all in bikinis and their underwear, it's not because it's like, ooh, sexy. But it's actually because they don't steal any money. So they can always see what they have on them. So you'll notice like all the males or the females are wearing very little clothing in this scene because they don't want anyone stealing money. And so the guy's like, okay, I'll let you in. He opens it and boom, gets a fucking butt of a shotgun shoved right in his nose. Just cracks it open. And they're like, oh, as this place is fucking raided. And like all these guys coming in masks and shotguns and assault rifles, like, oh shit. And they get everyone in a big group in a circle. And they're like, you guys will never stand a chance. And like the main guy, this main like little chubby guy, I'm going to call him Chubby McTubbs. Chubby McTubbs is like, you guys will never stand a chance. This is Reyes' business. And he will find you. He'll find out who you are. And Dom's like, oh, shit, man. Oh, we don't care that he knows who we are. He takes off his fucking mask. Brian takes his mask off. Tyrese, Ludacris, everybody. We want him to fucking know who we are. And he's like, you're never going to get away with that. You're never going to be able to fucking spend that goddamn money. And then Dom's like, who said we're going to fucking spend this money? And it's like $10 million or some shit. And he takes out some kerosene. Actually, it's gasoline. It's like, no, stop using gasoline. It would explode. Use kerosene, but he uses gasoline. Dumps all this money. And he takes this fucking lighter and goes, boo. And it's like, everything burns. And he burns. And you can see Tyrese and Gibson go, oh, in the background, like, oh, the money. He's so sad. No! He's so sad. And they're like, oh, he's like, tell him who we fucking are. And they leave. And so then Chubby McTubbs, he reports back to Reyes. ZZ is also in the room. And Reyes is like, so you're telling me he broke in there, he got in there on your dime, on your watch, didn't steal the money, just burned it, just destroyed it. And he goes, yes, that's true. He goes, and then we cut to Reyes' desk, and Reyes is like looking at, and just love it, because his desk is just an assortment of weapons, like things to stab with, things to bludgeon with, and he settles for us like, well, thank you for telling me. He grabs his like weird statue, goes, rah, and just smashes it against Chubby McTubbs' heads. Just you just hear the bone and the brain go, chat. Even ZZ's like, oh God. And he's like, we got to move my money to a secure location, okay? It's what we have to do. And ZZ's like, okay, sir, we will. He's like, and clean this up. The guy's Chubby McTubbs is like, he's like all twitching and stuff. And so then we cut to the Rio police station chat, where it's all corrupt, by the way. It's all corrupt. It's bought by Reyes. And they have this giant fucking vault in there. And they bring all these huge bags of money, chats, mostly American dollars, but you also have some foreign currencies in there. And they all put in this giant fucking vault. And it's just stacked. So it's got like $100 million in there. Most of Reyes' wealth. They put in there, and Reyes is like, so you're going to fucking keep this secure, okay? You're going to double up the security. He's like, absolutely, sir. No, we'll make sure that your money is safe, and it's safe with us. He's like, you're goddamn right, or I'll kill you. It's like, okay. And so at this point, the crew is like, all right, so we know that he's taking all of his money to the police station. The thing is, though, we actually have a blueprint of the police station because it's public record. You can look at it. And so they know where the vault room is, but they don't know what kind of vault it is. So they have to bamboozle the police station. I love this. Again, this is a really good heist movie. It's an outlandish over the top. Of course it is. But I like how each step is it's like, oh, you totally understand. You know what they're doing. And it's just really fun. It's part of the adventure. I love it. So the first step as well, we got to send someone in there who just doesn't shut the fuck up and just annoys the hell out of everybody and it just grates on everyone's nerves. And Roman's like, who's that? And they all look at him and goes, God damn it, fine. And so he's posing as like an FBI agent or something, and you can, I guess depending on what government agency you represent, you could put things in there temporarily for pickup, depending on your agency or something. And he goes in there and he starts giving this particular female officer just serenading. He's like, "Ooh, girl, look at those dimples. You look so cute. And those glasses, those frames. Oh my God, they really just brighten up your eyes." And she's like, "All right, okay." She just leaves, and this guy comes up to her. He's like, "Hey, why are you fucking assaulting her?" He's like, I wasn't assaulting her, man. That's not what I'm doing. You were harassing her, okay?" He's like, "Listen, I'm just telling the woman that she's beautiful, okay? I'm just telling her that." He's like, "What are you here to do, sir?" He's like, "I'm here to drop this. I want to put this in apparently in your vault, in your evidence room. I heard it's very, very secure. If you could show me that room." He's like, "Sir, you're going to have to leave that with us." And he's like, "Can I see some ID?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'll show you my ID." Takes out the ID. And he's like, "See, you can see it?" And he's like, "Sir, it says on here that you're Caucasian." And he's like, Caucasian? That's not right. "No, it's a tan." "Well, you ever heard of a tan? I'm very tan. It's very sunny here. I love it." Like, he tries to sell the fact I'm white. I just have a have a tan. Great. This whole scene, there's a lot of Tyrese Gibson like improvising, but it's really fucking funny and good. And he's like, "Okay, listen, man, I'm burning up. I gotta put on some cocoa butter. Can just show me your evidence room?" He's like, "I'll take this evidence room." He's like, "No, man, listen, I really got to see the evidence room." He's like, "Sir, I'm gonna call the embassy. All right, you can't." Say, "Okay, shit, I'm sorry. All right, just take it. Just fucking take it. I'm sorry. All right, my apologies." Fucking busta ass punk, Jesus. Come in there, better, but we hope that glass is able to fucking stand me. All right, motherfucker. And he leaves. Tyrese sound like kind of like Kevin Hart, a little bit, a smidgen. I don't think she spoke English. That could have been it. But he leaves, but Chad, it was all part of the fuckery. So the guy, he goes in there, puts it on in Evan's room right next to the fucking vault. We then cut to Tyrese, who gets in the back of the car with Brian and Tej. And Tej is like, "Did you fucking drop out the box?" Like, "Of course, man, I dropped the fucking box." And we see the box because Tej brings out this giant remote control. He's like, "All right, here we go." And the box starts moving and shaking, and out pops a little RC car with a camera on. It's like, "Oh shit!" And so this thing starts moving around and stuff. It's like, and Tej is all like, he's like, "God damn it, man, you want to play video games and shit? Come on, did you control the car?" He's like, "It's hard, okay? It's difficult." It eventually gets control of it, Chad, and he parks it right inside of the vault. And Tej is like, "Oh shit. This is one of the most advanced vaults in the world from what I'm looking at. This thing has several different types of codes. That's an industrial grade lock right there. Looks like, oh shit, it might be a hand scanner." He's like, "Tej, how do you know all about this kind of stuff?" He's like, "I've had a previous life before you knew me." It's like, "What was that life, Tej? How do you know about vaults and tech stuff now?" And they're like, that's how explain away. "I had a previous life before you knew me." That's it. That's all the effort they take to explaining why Tej is suddenly a tech hacking expert, a circuits man, as they call him. And they're like, "All right." So they get the make and model of the vault. And what they do is, "We're just going to buy the vault." And so they put in an order for the same kind of vault, and it's delivered to their new compound. It's like, okay, they open it up, and Tej is like, "Oh shit, so yeah, we're gonna need a lot of stuff. I mean, I could break most of this with my circuits hacking abilities," which is like, all right, "but the one thing we're gonna fucking need, absolutely, is a handprint, and I'm betting you that's Reyes's hand." And Tyrese is like, "So we gotta cut off this motherfucker's hand?" He's like, "No, goddamn it, a simple handprint will do, okay, just something like that." And he's like, "All right, shit. Also, we're gonna, in order to steal this vault, it's gonna be difficult. Because even if we get it, the cameras in Rio de Janeiro apparently are super advanced. And if we want to have like a specific amount of time where they don't see us on camera so we can escape, we need like the fastest car imaginable. And one, we're going to have to hack these cameras so we know like exactly where we need to go, plot our path and everything." And they're like, "Okay, shit, let's do that. We'll do that." More I gotta think of the four biddies. Tyrese should have said, "Where do they go like in Boondocks?" That would be great. "Without that handprint, Houdini himself couldn't open this bitch." That is the line. So goddamn funny. But so at this point, like, we gotta hack the cameras at this point. And so they send in the two Dominican Republic brothers. What are their names? Let me put some respect on those names. They ain't busters. Chap. Let me get the respect for them. Leo and Santos. Leo and Santos, Chad, are their names. So Leo and Santos, they go to the sewer systems right outside of the police station. They go down there and they're like, okay, what? It's weird. What are they doing in the sewers? Are they going to do something in particular? At the same time, we cut to the same desk clerk that was messing with Tyrese earlier in the movie. And he goes to the bathroom, Chad, and he pops a good old squat on the toiletta, Chad. And you hear the little he's a little constipated right now. He's like, oh, let's try. But meanwhile, we cut to the sewer system where Leo and Santos, they open up this pipe and just human feces and urine just starts pouring out. And they're like, oh, God, oh. And they put a pipe bomb in there. They set it for 60 seconds. And they put it in there and they go, all right, take off. They go. And then we cut back to the bathroom as that guy's trying to, just get this turd out of him, Chad. He can't do it. He's so stressed out. He got so much anxiety. And then, but as soon as he's about to drop it, Chad, boom, boom, the bathroom explodes, covering the walls, covering this poor clerk in liquid human feces, Chad, and urine and tons of used toilet paper. He's like, he just like runs out of the room. It's a goddamn nightmare. It's seen as very gross. And eventually, Leo and Santos, they pose as custodians, Chad. And so they go into the police station. By the way, they have a great back and forth because it's like, I think one of the brothers is like, you're always so fucking negative. Stop being so goddamn negative, okay? We're going to do this. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't like this. As they go in, they're scared police station. They want to be arrested. But they go in the police, they go in the bathroom, and they're like, oh, God, it's a nightmare. And they go to the side of the wall where apparently they cut through this amount of concrete, they'll be able to they'll find these wires, and they'll be able to hack into the camera systems, not only at the police station, but all of Rio de Janeiro. They'll have access to every single fucking camera in Rio de Janeiro. It's like, okay. Nexus, I'm outside in front of my local GameStop first in line to purchase Xbox Series X. What? I'm going to be switching with my father around Sam so I can go to work tomorrow. I say, hey, that's nice, man. Congrats. Well, wish you luck. Wish you luck getting it. But they hack. I was like, okay, shit. And this is when they learn, like, okay, like these cameras can go like 100 degrees and everything, back and forth. So they're pretty goddamn good. And if we're going to want to try to get off these cameras out of sight for something we want to do later on in the movie, which is a big surprise, we need some really fucking fast cars. And it's like, oh, shit. Well, our compound got raided. Luke Hobbs, Chad, The Rock, he took all our cars. Well, the only car that they have, Chad, is Dom Toretto's American muscle car. And so we're going to have to go ahead and get ourselves like some fucking 10-cent cars, Chad, some 10-cent racers like back in the old day. And Dom and Brian are like, oh, we're your fucking guys. We're your bros. We'll go get it. And so they go to this drag race, Chad, organized in Rio de Janeiro. And then you get booty butt, all the Brazilian booty you want, Chad. It's on full display. There you go. Love it. Love it. And this is the first like true booty butt. Maybe it was another one in the movie, but this is the one's like, all right, here you go. There's always at least one scene in a Fast and Furious film, and you got this one. There's another one coming up later. When they go back to the drag race. And so Brian and Dom, they stop there. They meet with this one guy who's kind of like, he's the best driver in Rio de Janeiro. And they see this blue sports car that he has, this blue racer. And Brian's like, blue's my favorite color. Like, Brian always drives a blue car in every movie. And that's his thing. He's like, Dom, I want that car. He's like, all right, Brian, I'll get it for you. This guy's like, you think you can fucking get my car, man? You want to race? And Dom's like, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Let's fucking do it. And then we cut, and we don't see the race. So this is a very controversial moment in the movie where we don't see this race. We are immediately back at the compound, and Brian is driving the blue car. I really do wish we saw that race. I think that would have been fun. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on. That kind of sucks. And I would agree. That's like one of the weaker moments in the movie. The movie is pretty goddamn good, but I'm like, I would have liked that race. There's really only one true race later on in the film. And so at this point, they start testing out all these. Thank you! Christian Photos. I found them cutting away because I think they actually shown the race. There's too much tension whatsoever. There'll be no tension when we already know the Dom Brand the best. Cutting to them already having one is more efficient by pacing. Yeah. I mean, but I would have liked to have seen the race. I would like to see them like race through Rio de Janeiro, what that would have been like at night, especially. Because we don't really see any night. Well, no, we do. We do see a night race later on, but I would have liked to have seen that. Kind of like, hey, like back in the old days, man, like a 10-cent race back in the old days. I would have liked that. But at this point, they have the car, and Brian, so they have all the security systems, and they start testing one of these cameras in the compound and seeing if Brian can basically beat the camera and not be seen on screen. He does it like a killer run, but then Han's like, oh yeah, we caught you on cam. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And it's like, well, we need more cars. And so they go out and somehow acquire all these vehicles, all these cars, and they keep getting seen on camera every single time. They're like, shit, okay, well, what is the fastest cars in Rio de Janeiro? Outside the ones that we have. And the fastest cars, funny enough, chat, are the actual cop cars. And it's like, you telling us that we got to steal some fucking cop cars? And they're like, yep. And they're like, okay. And so Gazelle, she's driving this one vehicle where you have where Roman, I believe Han, Dom, and Brian, they're on the back of it, and they hop over it, and they're in the police station, and they boost 4 cop cars, and they drive them out there. And they stop at this, and by the way, no one on the fucking street, no cops, any of the wiser, and they stop at a stoplight, like, all next to each other. And I realized right here, chat, they use some of the footage in this movie in Fast and Furious 7. When Dom and Brian are looking at you. Remember that great scene where Dom and Brian basically say goodbye to you? It's also like a goodbye to Paul Walker, since he had passed away by, before Fast and Furious 7 came out. And they had to rework the film. He died in that tragic accident. And I noticed they used footage from this scene in that movie. It's like, oh shit, now I recognize it, but they changed it up and look. But it still works in Furious 7. It's still good, but because he has the same face in it, like exactly. And I was like, oh shit, I see what you did there. It was clever though. James Wan used James Wan used archive footage mixed with body doubles and lip sync with Paul Walker's brothers to recreate certain scenes. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. The LC's bits of the scene of Dom and Brian talk about their dads for a scene. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Cool. When I get to 7, I'll have to see if I can. I'll notice that. Nice. I'm thinking 5 minutes, by the way. But they're all looking at each other, and like I was like, Brian's like, Dom. I mean, like back in the old days, right? And so this is like kind of like a little homage, little tip of the hat to the original films, at least the first 4 films. And fucking Dom's like, Han, Pierce, you in? And they're like, hell yeah. And it's like, when the light turns green, let's go. Like 10-cent race. And so when that light turns green, Roman's like, whoa! And he turns his siren on. He like just shoots forward and like, God damn it, Roman. Always trying to be so exaggerating crazy. But eventually they're going back and forth. But Han, Brian, and Dom are better drivers than Roman. Like they're probably like those 4 are the best drivers in the series. But the Han and Brian and Dom are better than Pierce. So they cut ahead of him. But eventually it's mostly between Dom and Brian. They're the top 2 best racers. And they're like, oh shit, they keep coming back and forth until eventually like Dom's creeping ahead and Brian's like, not this time, Dom. He cuts and he gets just ahead of Dom. But Dom eases up on something. Oh, that's the thing before. I'm sorry. The reason why Dom eases up on the speed. In an earlier scene when they're having a family moment chat, they're all cooking barbecue and stuff and having a great time. This is where actually the scene where Vince comes in. I think it's just before this. It's just before this scene where Mia, she's out shopping for like food and things for everybody, and apparently the Reyes guys find her. They've been keeping because he puts a bounty on their heads. He's like, I want not only the police after them, I want every fucking set of eyes, every pair of eyes on them. And someone spots her at a market, and Vince, who's been following her, making sure she's safe, he grabs her and they leave. Takes her back to the compound. Vince and Dom, they kind of make up, and Vince says, hey Dom, if you need a person for this job, he's like, Vince, don't even have to ask. You can fucking be a part of this job. And they reconcile, but you got to say grace tonight. And everyone's bonding, having a great time. It's a really nice moment. But Roman walks up to Brian and Mia and offers them some beers. And Brian's like, she can't have that. And Roman's like, oh shit, she preggo? You got a butt in the oven, girl? And they're like, it's great. And Roman's like, man, your pull-out game is weak, Brian. And all of them is like, it's a great little moment. But it sets up this scene. So after that happens, everyone's having a great goddamn time. Also, you start to see like some chemistry between Han and Gazelle, and especially this scene coming up here. I'm saving this one for last because it made me fucking laugh. But they come back from their little race they did. Brian won, and he's like, fucking got you, Dom. I finally beat you. He's like, It's a good race, O'Connor. And then he's like, fucking Pierce, did you see that? Roman, did you see that? He's like, man, he let you win. He's like, what are you talking about? I saw him ease up. And he's like, Han, no, he didn't, right? Han's like, yeah, he eased up on you. I saw him. And he's like, what? And Brian looks so sad. He looks so sad because of that. And he's like, oh, that was a Father's Day gift to you. That was a baby gift to you, boy. It's like, no. Great scene, great scene. But then, chat, like the last thing that they need. So they got all this stuff. They have, okay, we're still practicing with all the cars. The cop cars are really, really fast. It's what we need to do to beat the cameras. It's like perfect. We know what the vault we're working with. We have control of the security cameras, but we need that handprint. And so they assign Han and Gazelle to get the handprint. So Han and Gazelle, because they have the chemistry, and Dom recognizes that these two are falling in love with each other. And so he's like, all right, you guys go ahead and get the handprint. And so Gazelle and Han are hanging out and things. They're having a nice little back and forth. And he's like, well, I don't know how we're going to get the handprint. And he's just snacking the whole time. He's just eating and things. He's offering her some snacks. Juicy's DT. It's hilarious about the whole Batman Kit Kat situation. Oh, yeah. The kitty cat situation. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, Peter. Thank you for the 5 minutes, by the way. But she's like, I'll show you. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to get over there and get his handprint. And she's like, this job needs a woman's touch or a woman's tush, Chad, because she just disrobes and she's rocking this bikini and stuff. And he's like, I'm just eating the whole time. And she's just strutting up there, Chad. By the way, super skinny. But she struts up there, sees Reyes there. And Reyes sees her walking. He's like, yeah, no, bring her up here. And the guards let her pass. And she sits down like right. He's sitting on this, like, this very big chair. She sits down on the armrest, and he just slaps that ass. He goes, nom, 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 just grabs that ass cheek, and Han's like, nom, 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 just eating. We then cut. And she's like, okay, we have a limited amount of time. My ass has his handprint. And they're like, girl, really? And so they lift her up and they put her on the vault and they press her booty into the thing there, chat. And there is the handprint of Reyes firmly on Gal Gadot's ass. Which I think is hilarious. What a way to get a handprint. I was like, fair enough. Very funny. Actually, it's on her. Well, funny enough, it's on her panties. She gives them her panties, and Tej is like, this is amazing. and he gets the handprint off of it. You can see on the black lights, and Roman's like, that guy's got some greasy fucking fingers, girl. And she goes, yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't like when you were slapping my ass. He goes, girl, it's nasty. So at this point, but they're concerned. They are concerned. So they got the cars, they got all this stuff. Vince has rejoined the team, but the one thing that they are concerned about is Hobbs, Luke Hobbs, because he's still after them. Like, they can't deal with Hobbs and Reyes' guys at the same time, so they have to throw him off the trail in order to complete this heist. And so it's like, how can we do that? It's like, because we have to know where Hobbs is at all time before we start this operation. That's what we should do. But let's put ourselves out there. We'll put ourselves out there. Thank you, Show for the 20 biddies. My heart's a pitter-pattering. It's on her bikini. I know, I'm joking. Praise be Juicy Herman, bringing the hentai and the juice. Thank you, Steven. Thank you. So he did smack that ass. He did. But we cut to, it's like, we're gonna put ourselves out there and have him come to us, and we're gonna bamboozle him. So they go back to the drag race where, Luke Hobbs, he gets a tip. He's like, oh shit, Toretto and Brian and Han, all these other guys, they've been spotted at this drag race location. He's like, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna get my boys over there. And he goes over there. He's like, Toretto! And Dom's like, oh, Special Agent Hobbs, how you doing? It's like, you're coming in with me. And Dom's like, I don't think so. He's like, you're under arrest. He's like, I don't feel under arrest, which is great. And then they just confront each other because he's like, you're in Rio de Janeiro, Special Agent Hobbs, and Rio protects it. So, all these fucking people pull out these goddamn pistols, chat, these Uzis, the assault rifles, all on Hobbs. And Hobbs is the only one that stepped forward. Everyone's like, Benji's like, da, 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 da. And they confront each other, chat, like this close to each other. And you just see the sweat, like literally running down The Rock's face, shit. Like it's dripping off of his goatee. It's like, dude, you need to sit down. Are you okay? But he's like, I'm coming for you, Toretto. He's like, I'll be waiting. And so then Luke Hobbs, gets back in the car, he drives away. But apparently, Ludacris snuck underneath one of the cars and planted a bug. And so they're always able to keep track of Hobbs the entire goddamn time. It's like, oh, perfect. This is great. This is great. We'll always know where it is. So like, all right, and this is the day of the operation. Luke Hobbs, he's on the way on the other side of Rio de Janeiro. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't worry about it. We just got to contend with the police. We just got to contend with Reyes's goons. We got this, Sid. But oh no! As like Han and Roman and Ludacris, they all take off in the police cars and cruise. Like, we'll see you guys out there. Fucking boom! Fucking through the wall, chat. We see him, chat. The big sweaty brown mountain himself. Rock, fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson comes in there with his whole team. He's like, you thought you lost me, Troy. It's like, how? He's like, as soon as we got back to the station, I knew you put a bug on me. There was no goddamn way you just put yourself out there unless you had a good reason. I found it, and I reverse engineered it, and then I found out where you lived. And fucking Dom's like, Brian, Mia, get out of here. Vince, get out of here. They all take off running. He's like, this Buster's dealing with me now. And we get, chat, one of the best SmackDowns, fights, whatever you want to call it, chat, in the Fast and Furious saga. And what's so funny about this is that in their contracts, in Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Vin Diesel contracts, they both said that they need to throw the exact same amount of punches as the other. So, like, no one can get an extra punch in there. No one can get an extra kick in there, an extra grapple, extra throw. It's like, they have that big of a fucking ego. They're like, no, we need to be evenly matched. And the thing is, though, Chet, it's a well-choreographed fight. Vin Diesel and The Rock and their stunt doubles, whoever else, they fucking sell this, and it's great because they are just, I mean, we've seen Vin Diesel get hit with crowbars and tire irons and get shot, just fucking throws it off and throwing people around in the last, like, movie. And here it is again. But now Vin Diesel is fighting an equal in The Rock. I mean, The Rock is bigger than Vin Diesel, but Vin Diesel's pretty big in this movie. I mean, he's rocking some fucking guns. It's like, oh, shit. And it's like, all right, this is pretty goddamn intense. Oh, also, before this, I forgot there was another scene. So pause the fight, Joe. We'll come right back to the SmackDown. Vin Diesel notices that Neves has the cross because he sees it right between her big old bosoms, and because she's just staring at him and stuff. And he's like, huh. And eventually cut back to Neves' apartment where she goes inside. And Dom just fucking grabs her from the darkness. She's like, "Arr!" He's like, no screaming, okay? I just came back to get my property. He rips the necklace, the cross, the crucifix off her. And she goes, why'd you come back for that? Why'd you come back for, $20 piece of silver right there? And he's like, because it's worth more to me than you could possibly imagine. My Letty gave it to me. Did you love her? And she goes, yeah, the same way you loved your husband, because her husband was murdered by Reyes like 2 years ago. Chad's what inspired her to join the force. And she has like a little altar towards him and everything. And he's like, why'd you love your husband? Because he was always honest with me. He was a good man. He was a good officer. He always did what he thought was absolutely right. And he didn't stand to corruption. I wanted to honor him in that way. And he looks at her, he's like, you care about family, don't you? And she goes, yeah, I love my family, even though I don't have one anymore. And he's like, oh, no family, bro. No family, bro. He goes, I love you. And they smooch. And they smooch, Chevy. He's like, I gotta leave, though, because you're involved with Luke Hobbs and stuff. But then, it's like, okay, establishing the romance between the two of them. Let's fuck, bro, but pretty much. Then we cut back. But then, Chad's like, Neves is there, and she is witnessing a fucking SmackDown chat between Dwayne, The Rock, Kool-Aid Man Johnson, and Vin fucking Diesel as Dom Toretto chat. And this is a great fucking scene. Blacks are going base, almost the level of brawl of Keith Davis, Rowdy Piper, and They Live. It is. It's a goddamn great fight. Thank you, 100 buddies, where they are literally just throwing each other back and forth, punching, blow to ball, just barely like bleeding at all, and it's just going through glass, going through brick walls, going through concrete wood, just like grabbing something, going, just running through wall after wall, Chad, until eventually Dom, like, because The Rock has like Dom in like a headlock, he's like, and he sees Brian and Vince and Mia, they've been captured. He's like, no, bro, nephew, family. And he breaks out of the Rock's headlock, and he punches him, and the Rock just grabs him. They go through this fucking window, and the Rock just starts wailing on Vin Diesel, like, and the Vin Diesel flips him. And you know what the Vin Diesel does, Chad? He remembers what Brian always used to do. And Vin Diesel uses his thick, brown, ethnically mysterious thighs and locks them around the Rock's head. He's like the whole time. And then he just starts punching the shit out of the Rock, like, and he grabs a wrench, Chad. It's like, oh, but he has like a flashback to that time when he almost killed that guy who now works as a janitor at that school back in the original Fast and Furious. He goes in there and everyone's like, no, Dom. He's like, run. And he brings it down, Chad. And he gets up. And the Rock, he looks back at Dom, and he looks over, and he sees the wrench, like, embedded in the fucking concrete. And he's like, just sweat. Just so much sweat. It's like a fountain just coming down off of his head, Chad. It's like he's going to lose all the moisture in his body. Dominic Toretto, you're under arrest. It's like, shit. And so they all go in the car, and like in this armored vehicle, this huge armored Humvee, and they're going down this road, Rio de Janeiro, past all these homes and shit. And everyone's just like really sad. He's like, I'm taking you in, Toretto. It's over, okay? You and your family, you're done. And then Neves is looking at Dom. He's looking all sad at her, and me and Brian are sad, and Vince is just like, I'm here too, I guess. He's pretty sad. But then, oh no, Chad, because fucking the Rock, he notices an RPG, a guy holding an RPG on a rooftop, and it blows up the car in front of him. He's like, no! And then he gets out, and we see all these fucking guys on these rooftops with AK-47s and Uzis, Chad, and all sorts of guns to start shooting at the Rock's boys. And he sees this one car flip, and one of the Rock's ethically mysterious best friends, he's like, help me, I'm pinned by the car. And he's like, I'll come for you, bro, in a second. But the Rock can't hold off all these guys alone, Chat. And he's watching as his entire team, his family, is slaughtered before his eyes. And, you know, they're all going down and shit. The Rock, like, he gets knocked over. Like, I love this because there literally is, he's in front of a car, and the Rock's standing here, but he has his back to this one guy with an RPG, and this guy fires directly at the goddamn Rock with an RPG, and the RPG is heading straight towards him, but the RPG says, I can't fucking penetrate that thick brown mountainous body, that boulder of a Rock body, and it actually goes, whoop, and it goes around him. It was heading straight for him, chat, and it goes, whoop, and it goes around and hits the car in front of him, blowing him back and him falling down. He sees his whole team slaughtered, sees the one guy pinned by the truck, is like, help me. But then he notices the guy, this is great, these two grenades just show up by the guy's, like, open hands. He's like, help me. He's like, hell. Boom! He explodes, too. The Rock's like, no. Meanwhile, we cut back to inside the armored vehicle, where Dom and Brian are saying, cut us loose, okay? We can help. And Neves is like, oh, what's going to happen, chap? Then we cut outside. And the Rock is being surrounded by all of Reyes's thug shit, all these gangsters, all these busters, these punks. And right before they're about to put one, ZZ's there. ZZ's also there. He's like, it's over, Special Agent Hobbs. But all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. All of Reyes's thugs, with the exception of ZZ, start getting shot. ZZ goes, woo, 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 and he fucking takes off running. And we see Dom rocking a shotgun. We see Vince rocking an Uzi. We see Mia rocking like these two pistols. Boom, boom, pew, pew, pew. We see Neves. We see Brian O'Connor rocking an assault rifle. All protecting the Rock, Chad. They're shooting out all these Reyes' thugs. And then we see Dom come right upon the Rock, Chad. And he holds out his hand. He's like, you ready to go? And the Rock looks at him and goes, you have my respect, Dominic Toretto. He's like, you want to be part of the family? He goes, we are family. Yay, The Rock has joined the family, Chad. He takes his hand, and Vin Diesel helps The Rock get back to the armored vehicle. They put him in there. But oh, no. Everyone starts jumping in the vehicle. But then we hear someone go, no. It's like, who got shot? Someone got shot. Everyone gets in the vehicle, and they start driving. And they're all heading back to Dominic's compound where The Rock raided earlier. But we see one person's like, it's Vince, chat. Vince got shot in the same exact place he got shot in the original movie. He's like, Dom. He's like, Vince, bro, he's like, Dom, I want you to meet my son, Nico. I named him after you. He's like, my name's not Nico. He goes, no, well, the latter part of your name, Nick. Oh, Nico, Nick. Got it, Vince, got it. He's like, I want him to meet his uncle. He goes, he holds his bloodied hand. He's like, he's going to meet his uncle. I'm going to take care of your family, Vince, because you know what? He goes, what? Because they are family. And Vince dies. Vince fucking dies, chat. And we cut back and he says, rest easy, my brother. I'll take care of little Nico and Rosa. And he covers him up. And at this point, Dom's like, listen, we're at a disadvantage at this point. We don't know where Ludacris is or where Pierce is or Han is or Gazelle, but we can still fucking pull this off, all right? We can do this, all right? We're a fucking family. I need your help. We can do this. You guys want to do this? And fucking Brian's like, hell yeah. Mia's like, goddamn right. I got a baby cooking in here. I need to provide. And Nev is like, you got me too, Dom. And The Rock's like, hold up. I'll help you, Toretto. Just for this day. He's like, family for a day. Family for a day. Let's fucking do this, chat. And so The Rock, he's leading the fucking assault. He's in his armored vehicle. He's like, we're going right to the goddamn police station right now. And again, the laws of physics, gravity, and logic do not apply here, chat, because The Rock's just like, fuck it, and like, I'm breaking the law, and he's just driving through the police station. He literally takes his armored vehicle, breaks in the parking lot, blowing over concrete pillars, chat, drives through like the actual rooms of the police station until he gets to the vault room, chat, and he backs up and smashes into it again until it's exposed. The back of the vault is exposed. While Dom, and thank you, Mordecai, for the one video, R.I.P. Vince, and rip that guy from FF1 that we never see again. Yes, that guy, Leon? Yeah, I never knew what happened to him. We'd never find out. But as soon as he does, he's like, all right, Dom, Brian, or he's like, Toretto, O'Connor, you're up. And so they go to the back of the vault, and apparently they have these giant wenches show, these cables, and they hook up these wenches and cables to the back of the vault. Reyes is like on the phone. It's like, what the fuck's going on with the vault? I heard the police station's under attack. And the angry Portuguese police chief is like, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. And we see that they've hooked up the vault and slowly being taken out, chat. And they're putting fucking pedal to the metal. Dom and fucking Brian. The thing is, though, this thing's not gonna budge without a little, say with me now, chat, NOS! And they activate that fucking NOS, chat. And boom, they uncork that sucker, chat. And we get one of the most amazing, dumbest action scenes I think I've ever seen in the movie. Where literally Dom and Brian are dragging behind this multiple ton vault filled with fucking money and all sorts of illicit goods, chat, throughout the streets of Rio de Janeiro. And this fucking thing is just destroying shit, chat, destroying fucking cars and buildings, probably killing dozens and dozens of innocent people. And the entire Rio de Janeiro police force, which they conveniently say, is completely and totally corrupt. So don't feel bad that they're all dying. Which I'm like, I think that's kind of bullshit, but all right. Is chasing after them, chat. And we get, listen, if you're upset that you didn't get a race in this movie, this chase sequence is probably the best one in the franchise, chat, because then the money's all up here. Yes, there's some CGI and use in here, but it's cool because a lot of these scenes are practical. They actually, like, the vault they're dragging is actually like a rubber thing. You actually notice in some scenes, like, the vault, like, bounces off this tree. And one thing they couldn't, like, cut fast enough. It's like, oh, it's kind of cool. But a lot of this is practical, which is awesome. And they're like, that's why the budget's so fucking expensive. It's all practical effects. But they're dragging this whole thing in Rio de Janeiro. And at one point, like, Brian, like, he's got all his cops' cars on him. He's nudging them. And the vault, like, they use the vault as a weapon as they're driving it around, which, again, I don't know how you could be that articulate. And they're smashing cop cars, and they're flipping over and crashing the buildings. And just everything's exploding around them. And The Rock, even though he's an officer of the law, is completely okay with this. He's like, what are you going to do? This place is all corrupt. Fuck these people. But they're smashing all these things. At one point, Brian, he has to stop because he's getting attacked by those police, and he drives behind the vault and puts his back into it in reverse, and so he's pushing it while Dom is pulling it at one point, and while The Rock is keeping them off, and Neves is, like, shooting all these corrupt police officers, like, like all this crazy shit. It's nuts. And eventually, Brian wraps back around, and they continue driving. But oh no, there's more fucking police officers. There's the rest of Reyes' guys are on the scenes. But thank God they have fucking backup, chap, because then Han, Roman Pierce, Tej, and Gazelle, they all fucking show up and they start taking out all these goddamn guys like, woo! And then at one point, Mia's like, okay, guys, here's your 10-second window. Do what you need to do. It's like, all right. And then they do what they do in that 10-second window. We don't see it. But then we cut. And Brian and Dom are dragging the vault across this huge fucking bridge. And like, but the thing is though, there's like a ton of cops behind them and they're gonna catch up. There's like dozens and dozens of cars. And they're like, Brian, Dom, there's way too many cars here, okay? Like, we're not gonna make it. And Dom's like, you're right, Brian, we're not. But you can. He's like, Dom, what are you talking about? Go, be a good father, Brian. Be the best father and husband you can. All right, tell little Dominic Jr., who's in Mama's belly, that his uncle loves him very much. He's like, Dom! And Dom, he cuts the cable somehow to Brian's car. And Dom, literally, this is great, he literally turns around and he's like, all right, busters, it's you and me. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Let's see if you fucking do. And he just starts zigzagging down this highway bridge, chat, until the vault is going boom, 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 back and forth. And he literally uses it as a flail, chat, as a mace, as he's just knocking these cop cars off this bridge back and forth, chat, just slamming into them, destroying them. I mean, I've never seen this much car-on-car action, chat. Like, the damage is incredible. As these guys just go like right into the water. All these guys are dead, no question. Until you realize Reyes, he wants to be on the scene. He's got Zizi driving, and he's behind all these cop cars. And he's like, Zizi, what's going on? What's happening? I don't understand. Until finally they see this one cop car just go, and Reyes is like, no! As Dom just, he just about to jump. He jumps out of his own car, and Zizi jumps out of the car. As Dom cars makes contact, Reyes goes, no! As boom, just hits it, chat. And the vault is like teetering over the edge, just teetering right over the edge of the bridge. Dom, he gets up and he sees Zizi get up. He's like, Toretto. And he's like, God damn, motherfucker, why don't you die? He's like, you can't kill me, Toretto. I'm here to kill. And he dies. And it's like, who shot Cockroach Zizi, chat? And it was fucking Brian. He's like, I thought I told you to go and get out of here. He's like, yeah. I didn't listen. They go, yeah, bro. And but at this point, after that, The Rock, he has his armored vehicle. He stops. He parks it along with Neves. They get out. But Reyes, he falls out of his vehicle. He's like, Special Agent Hobbs, help me. And The Rock just takes out his gun, bam, without even fucking look at him, chat. Shoots him in the head like twice. He goes, that's for my fucking team, you prick. And he keeps walking. It's so badass. I love it. Absolutely love it. And he's like, Toretto, listen, I'm not one for clemency, okay? You're not going to get off scot-clean. But the one thing I can give you is 24 hours. You console with every demons or angels you need to. But after that, I'm coming for you. And he's like, and the money, that's staying here. O'Connor, same to you. Now get your asses on. They're like, no problem, Special Agent Hobbs. And so they get back in O'Connor's car, and they drive away. Eventually, though, Hobbs is like, this is like too easy, and they were too agreeable to this. Then he goes over to the vault, and he notices the part of the vault's open. He's like, what the fuck? He opens the vault. It's completely empty. He's like, these motherfuckers bamboozled me. He's actually kind of happy about it. He's like, wow, they got one on me. And then we cut. Remember that 10-second gap? He's like, when Mia says, okay, guys, because she's monitoring the cameras, you have 10 seconds to do this. We see it, chat. We see Gazelle, she's driving this garbage truck where they have the fake vault on board. And what they do is they drive up the one, like they do a switcheroo. They attach the fake vault to Dom and Brian's car, and they put the real vault on the garbage truck, chat, and the garbage truck drives away from the police. It's like, oh shit, that's how they did it. And we cut back to the compound, chat, where Ludacris, he puts in all the fucking codes, chat. He grabs Gazelle, uses her booty butt cheek to open up the vault. and they open it up, and it's just filled, chat, $100 million goddamn dollars, and each of them gets $11 million. Woo! And they're like, yeah, family. Everyone's so happy and shit. And then we get like an epilogue of like how everyone is spending their money. The first one we see is we cut to Rosa, Nico, Vince's wife, and they're going up to their little villa, their small little home, little dilapidated home, and they go open the door, and they notice the door's open. It's like, this is weird. And they're like, oh, shit, did someone break in? But they see, Chad, she sees this giant fucking bag of money, so probably Vince's cut, so about $11 million. And she's like, what? And she sees a note and says, from your uncle Dom, I'll meet you and your mother soon, Dominic. And she's like, yeah, family. So he gets the money. We cut to Roman, who's pulling up to Tej's, because Tej just want to open up another garage. They want to, that's, you want a simple life. Roman pulls up to Tej's garage. He got a new car, got a new very thick lady, steps out, he's got a big suit, and he's like, I just bought this new car from the Sheik. It's the only one of its kind in the Western Hemisphere. And Tej's like, oh shit, really, man? He's like, yeah, come on, man, where you gonna fucking we're gonna ride this old jalopy to the club? Let's go, man, where's your car? And the same exact car pulls up, and Roman's like, the fuck? He's like, yeah, I think there's two of the same car in the Western Hemisphere right now. And these two very thick, beautiful ladies walk up to Tej. He's like, all right, man, let's go. Let's have some fun. Hey, ladies. Hey, girls. How you doing? And then we cut to, I think we're in Madrid, and we're in Berlin, where we see Gazelle and Han, and they're like smooching, fucking the car. She's like, you want to go to Spain? He goes, hell yeah, I do. I mean, I also wouldn't mind going to Tokyo. Well, sometime in the future. It's like, no, Han, don't go to Tokyo. Stop doing that. You're going to break our hearts. We can't see you die. We then cut to Monaco, where the two Dominican Republic brothers have bet all of their money on roulette, and they lost it all because they're stupid. And then finally, chat, we cut to, I think it's, I don't know where we are. We're in Puerto Rico, or maybe Mexico, and we're on a beach, and we see Mia. She's like, oh, she's very pregnant. Her and Brian's like touching her. She's like, my little baby's there. She's like, yes, it is. And they're all walking on the beach and stuff. And then finally they go up to their house, and who's fucking arrived, Chad, just in the nick of time? Dom, along with Officer Neves, Chad, because Officer Neves and Dom, they be fucking, Chad, having a great goddamn time. Yes. And so Mia and Neves, they're drinking out of coconuts, having a great goddamn time, drinking coconut milk and smoothies, while Dom and Brian, they're talking, having a great time. And Dom's like, listen, man, like, you're gonna be a great dad. I'm very happy for you. And Dom, like, listen, I'm happy for you that you found someone like Neves. She seems like a really good woman. He's like, she is. But Brian, he notices the car. He's like, hey, Dom, how about we race for real this time? And Dom's like, you want to beat me, O'Connor? Do you think you're going to beat me this time? He's like, hey, man, let's do a 10-cent race, just like back in the old days. He's like, you're on, O'Connor. And then we cut, Chad, and we get the end credits. Like, yay, the movie ended. What a great ending. What a solid fucking ending. It's great. But then, chat, we like, what? There's a stinger. We got an end credit stinger. There's this movie. And we're at the Washington, D.C. office of Officer Special Agent Luke Hobbs, chat. And he's sitting at his desk, and this woman starts walking by and is like, who is this very thick, big booty butt woman, chat? Because they got the camera on her ass. And it's Eva Mendes from Too Fast, Too Furious, chat. It's like, oh, shit. That's right. She works at the same office that The Rock does. And she goes, Luke Hobbs, I heard that I think I have something that might interest you. He's like, is it Toretto? She goes, no, but it's these people stole these cars in Berlin. He says, I don't care. She's like, no, you're going to want to see this. And he's like, all right. He takes the file. He starts reading through it, and we see a picture. He goes, oh, it's Letty, chat, but Letty died in Fast and Furious. How is she here? How's she alive? Oh, we'll find out next time, chat. In Fast and Furious 6 tomorrow. But chat, that is my review for Fast 5, my scene by scene breakdown, chat, for this fine feature film. This is a very fun movie, as I said before. Action is great. Chemistry between the actors is pretty good. Few things, like, didn't really care for. The Reyes character is a villain. He's kind of boring. He's whatever. Kind of weak, Che. It's kind of like they're of Braga. It's like, I don't really care about you. You know, honestly, I think I'm going to count the Hobbs as a villain for this movie. I'm going to count Hobbs and Reyes as the villains of this film. But everything else really works, Che. This is when the franchise really finds itself. They delivered an incredible sequel. And then they made the right decision to go even more ridiculous, chat, and focus on the family. To me, this, chat, is the very definition of a full-price movie. Entertaining, no doubt about it. As of right now, it is number one in the Fast and Furious franchise. So my rankings of the Fast and Furious movies, chat, go Fast 5, The Fast and the Furious, the original one, Fast and Furious, the fourth one, Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, and then Too Fast, Too Furious, chat. Those are the 5 right now. In terms of villains, Hobbs is, I want to put Hobbs, like, he's really high up there for me in terms of villain. Because I'm going to count him as a villain in this movie. He is the majority of the film, for like, I would say 2/3, if not more, he is an antagonist towards the family. So I'm going to put him pretty high up there, chat. I think The Rock, the thing is, though, The Rock, in many ways, defies gravity, chat, and logic. So I think I have to put him at number 1 right now. I think it goes The Rock, it goes logic, it goes gravity, the truck driver from Fast and Furious 1 and 4. After that, I would say DK, then maybe Braga, then Johnny Tran, and then Crouton from Too Fast, Too Furious. And that, my friends, is my list of villains. Peter Patrick, the Vibes. When DD Crew was talking about the homoerotic relationship between Paul and Tyrese and Too Fast, Too Furious. Oh, really? I mean, yeah, it's out there. There's no doubt about it. Thank you for the Vibes, though. It's a rare fifth movie that's not only good, but also argued by many as being the best. And so, yeah, it is. You can make an argument. I'm gonna be doing 6 tomorrow, which I also really like 6 a lot. I don't think it's as good as 5. But 7 is the one where I'm like, 7 is really goddamn good, and it's emotional because, sadly, of the tragic passing of Paul Walker, which almost, I mean, that ending is very powerful. And it's also just a really fun movie. Yeah, it's hard to me. I always go back between 7 and 5 being my favorite. And I want to rewatch 7 again, maybe like to decide. 6 is great. I think I put under 5, though. Fast 8 did feel tired, agree. I'm not a big fan of 8. It's not going to be high on my list. I'll tell you that right now. But that was absolutely great review. Because thank you. No, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I hope you had a fun time with this one. It was fun for me, chat. But oh my lord, chat. I'm feeling a little tired. I'm thirsty, chat. I'm hungry. So please allow me, chat. Please allow me to refill my beverage. Look at Boston. Many great breakdown, Chris. I heard you will be reviewing Too Fast, Too Furious of Corey on Sunday as well. So, oh, really? Oh, I already know both those films. I've already seen them. Believe me, I can do both of those, no fucking problem. I have seen those movies recently, chat. I know about them buster movies. Draft. What's draft? We hungry. I know them back to back to back, chat. Scene by scene by scene by scene. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm very excited about that. I'll refuel on some gasoline. I need to. So we have to do one, yeah. Probably going to do I imagine it's because we're going to do the 2 weakest films in the franchise, which, I mean, you can argue Too Fast, Too Furious. Definitely Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift. I'll put Fate and Furious in there, too. But, yeah, I'll do that. And the credits do a really cool thing where they show the actors' names and clips of them and from their movies. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good. It's good end credits things. Your solid end credit sequence. And also when the Rock is looking up their files. We see, like, what they used to look like years ago. So we see Tej with his huge afro from Too Fast, Too Furious, and Roman and all his ridiculous clothes. So it's pretty funny.